Hello, this is your 8.72 tutorial. We're going to start off with a new drawing. Make sure you load the proper template type, proper template. Yours may be saved in a different location. Mine is going to be saved in my documents. McFatter templates. And we're going to use the McFatter ACAD template. For ease of this video, I'm going to turn off the grid. And this next step you do not have to do. I'm going to insert an image of the assignment given to you. Now we can see it on AutoCAD. You'll notice this is in inches. That's why I use the ACAD template. Majority of this is dealt with circles, so we're going to be using a lot of diameters this time around. Home tab, circle, center diameter. You pick any random spot in the black. Move across. We'll start with the largest one at 6.5. 6.5. Enter. Next one, let's change our layer to a center line. And this diameter is going to be 5.5. I'm going to also select this line here. I'm going to make it an object layer. Now, before we get too much far into this, let's go ahead and save the drawing. I recommend saving it in a folder with the chapter that you're working on. I'm just going to save mine in my Chapter 8 assignments. And I'm going to name it 8.72 and save it there. Now you can see it's named at the top of the drawing and this tab here as well. Now we're going to go ahead and draw another diameter circle. Using the center snap. The diameter for this circle is going to be a 4.5. This should not be a center line. I should have changed it to object layer. Let's see. Are we doing more objects? No, actually, I'm going to be doing some center lines as well. Let's do those center lines. Get those out of the way. So just for construction purposes, let's go ahead and get the diagonals that we have here, here, and here. They're all going to be at 45 degrees. So what I'm going to do is draw a line from here, coming straight across. The distance doesn't matter, how far out I go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the Tab key. And you notice that it changes to my degrees. I know this is going to be 45 degrees. And then just hit enter. And there's my first location for my first hole here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use the mirror command, selecting this object right here and mirroring it by selecting on the base point and then moving straight up, making sure I have ortho on. And then it's asking if I want to delete the source object. The default should be no. In my case, I'll just leave it at default and hit enter. If you do not have no, make sure you type in either N or no, NO. Or select down here the no. So So we want to keep these two objects. And also we'll notice here, there's a symmetry symbol. Okay, means whatever's going on here at the top is also going on down here. So I'm going to mirror that as well. Select these two lines and mirror. Selecting a line from the center and going right, making sure ortho is still on, and then hitting the enter key. I do not want to delete my source objects. So now I have the locations for the different holes. There are 4 of them at a diameter of 0.44. So let's put those in now. Change my layer to object, and then do a circle diameter right here at the intersection. Diameter is 0.44. I'm going to select that circle and use the copy command, using the center point as my base point. And I'm just going to move my cursor along to each intersection. If you do not have the intersection snapped on, remember you can change that here. If you don't have this icon, you can load it here. Then when I'm done copying, I'm going to right click. I'm going to draw one more center line coming from the middle going in this direction. You know, I'll leave that as an object layer. It doesn't matter. You can use whatever. This line here I'm going to base for the 1-inch offset from here to there as well. So let's go ahead and use the offset command. And we're going to type in 1 for the distance. I'm going to select the line and go up 1, and select and go down 1. Enter. Now I'm going to need what is 1, 2, 3 different radiuses. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my circle command and go to radius, picking up my center again, going in the direction that I want to go in. I'm going to do the 2.4 first. Just check the measurement on that real quick. 2.4. So we know it's this one. All right, next one we're going to do from the center again is going to be 3.2. I'll dimension that one as well so we can keep track of it. All right, I'm going to do another one. Ouch. Oops, I didn't type in the measurements. Let me delete that. Radius. Pick the center, pull it out. And this last dimension is a 3.45. Now the cut for this one, put the radius on here, just so we remember this one, will be cut at the angle here at a 45. One from the tangent coming from this. I'll show you how to get that in a second. But for now, let's go ahead and trim out the other two. So we'll use the trim command, selecting the top 1 inch and the bottom 1 inch offsets, and then we'll trim away at the circles. It's going to be this circle here. Notice the dimension. And this circle here. That leaves this little cut right here, as displayed here. You'll notice that the circle going across that we still have right now will eventually get trimmed. We need to create the tangencies first. I'm going to delete these two dimensions because they're taken care of now. Now we can go ahead and work on the tangency. So this is a 45-degree line coming off of here. And we're going to have another 45-degree line coming off of that. So I'm going to place it here at the intersection. Move my line across, drawing it straight out. And then I'm going to select that line and rotate it from the intersection here at 45. So you see how it's dimensioned here. If I draw a line coming from the center point here, and I dimension from here to here, it'll label it as 45, and it is tangent to this circle here. All right. I'm going to take this line that I have here. I'm going to mirror it. Choose the mirror command again, picking the center of the circle and moving it to the right. Selecting on this spot here. I'm going to hit Enter key. Now I have my two tangencies. I'm going to use them as the cutting plane. So I'm going to use trim, selecting 1 and 2. Now, for the circle on the inside, it's going to get cut on the inside of the two lines. And the circle that's on the outside will be cut by the circle, the two lines. And last but not least, I'll go ahead and trim out these last two things using these two lines here and here to cut away at this side, this side, this side, and this side here. Last but not least, I'll use this edge right here to cut off this and this. And I do not need this dimension anymore, so I will delete that as well. And this line here, I'm going to take out as well. All right, looking pretty good. Got all my wrenches in here. Now let me go ahead and put my center marks in. I'm going to change my layer to be center. Going to annotate, center mark, and click on the largest circle, should be this one. Puts in that center mark there. And then I'm going to put center marks for each of the holes. Now what you'll notice that these are straight, and the imagery here you'll see that they're aligned to the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select those center lines, use the rotate command. Pick the center of the circle. I'm going to point it towards the center. And that puts it on the correct angle. Going to do the same thing to all of them. Rotate, picking the center and going to the center. Selecting it. Rotate, finding the center and going to the center here. selecting the item, rotate, find the center, and going to the center of the object. Now I can go ahead and take out these lines here, because now the centers are marked. To make this look a little nicer, I'm going to take this in, make this shorter. Bring in the triangle first, then the square. Looking good. Now I will need to draw in a symmetry symbol here. I'm going to change this to the inner layer. I'm going to draw one line, just off here on the side, about the size that I want the inner layer to be on. You'll notice that on here, for each one of the layers, it always says by layer, by layer, by layer. And then the layers are set up in the layer property manager with certain line weights available. What we're going to do is we're actually going to thicken the actual line for this individual line instead of changing it globally. And this changes it globally by keeping these as by layer. So this one particular line, I want to be thicker. So I'm going to go into where it says line thickness here, and I'll change this to 0.40. It's not as thick as a line, object line. And I'll move the midpoint to a nearest point along the center mark. And I'm going to copy that line, moving it from here to there. And with this little indication here, this is the symmetry symbol. So the person reading this at any dimensions that are placed on this side will also be the same for this side, coming through this center right here. We do not put a symmetry symbol on this side because the left and the right side are obviously different. So now we have that out of the way. We can start putting in other dimensions. Before we get any further, let's go ahead and make sure we save our drawing. Let's also start taking a look at our layout. Looking into this viewport, let's center it a little better. Take a look at it one-to-one. Looks very tight. Not a lot of room for dimensions on the sheet. So let's go ahead and check out 11 by 17. And inside this viewport, we can center it a little better. Notice we have a lot more room for dimensions on this. This will be our best bet. So my little drawing is still sitting on there. So let me go ahead and take that and move that out of the way. You don't have it, so you don't have to worry about it. All right, so we're ready to start putting our dimensions in. Can do it in the model space. Make sure I'm on the anno layer. Oh, looks like we're actually not done with the drawing. We haven't finished the tail end of the piece. So let's go ahead and put that in. Change my layer to object. And start a line from here, straight across. I'm going to offset it 1.8. Up and then down. So where it intersects the circle is going to be where the line comes out, 0.8. So from this intersection here, I can do a line from the intersection out this way at 0.8. Enter. It'll bring that line straight across to intersect perpendicular. Now, I have a line on top of a line. I can either select this line and delete it, or I can go ahead and delete the extra long line because the length of the line is all I need from here to there. But on this side, I'm going to have to trim. So use the trim command, selecting the circle and the line, right click, then select this to cut, and select this to cut. Right click, enter. So it's going to cut the back end of the circle as well. So I'm going to need to cut that, trim. Using these two lines as my cutting plane, I can now select this back end. Notice my symmetry symbol is a little bit in the way now. I'm going to move it out of the way. I could use empty area using ortho, come straight back to move this just a little bit further out of the way. All right. Now these corners need to be rounded. A radius at 0.22. Use my fillet command. Make sure I go down and click on my radius. The radius is 0.22. Now I can select line 1 and then select line 2. Right click, repeat fillet. Select line 1, select line 2. There we go. Looking more like the seal that we need here. Now this label here is the symmetry symbol. We do not need to tell that to them. They are going to understand what that is. That is just something for educational use. I'm also going to go ahead and take this line I drew here and delete that. Now there's two things I could do with this one. I could stretch the center line out and pull it out a little bit more and make it run into this. But since I'm also putting a dimension down anyways, I'm going to go ahead and leave that and do the dimension. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my anno layer. Put in a linear line. I'm going to select the intersection here. I'm going to go up to hit the endpoint off of this object here and pull my dimension out in this direction. We'll notice we're set to 3 places and the drawing only calls for 2. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set this up for All right, now that we have this established, let's go ahead and do the radius for the fillets. I don't want the center mark, so I'm going to select the dimension, go to properties, and change the center mark to none. Now I knew what I was going to do. I was going to change my units globally, UNITS, and typing that in, I can go in and change my units here for my working units. Or what I can do, because I want to change my dimension style, is type in DIM style. In here, modify it. My primary units, I want to change the precision to 2 places. Hit OK and close. And automatically these are adjusted. All right, looking good. Let's go ahead and dimension the circle here. It's going to be a diameter dimension. Change the diameter. Dimension this one for now. Let me go ahead and put all my diameter dimensions in for now, and then I'll change their properties afterwards. You'll notice it's putting in the center lines. We'll fix that in a little bit. And draw a small line coming off of here, going across like that. Actually, I'm going to shrink that up a little bit, make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to use my angular dimensioning style. Place that there. And then I can stretch that line back out to merge with the center line there. All right, looking good. All right, the dimension linear from here to here. My 45 coming off of here. It's going to change back to angular again. And come from the center mark to the center mark. Clicking here. Now I did have a little bit of problem when I was trying to select this. The center mark didn't work, but the green one did. Let's go ahead and get rid of those extra anno center marks by selecting all of my radiuses and diameter dimensions. And I'm going to go to properties and change the center mark style to none. I close that. Hit the escape key. Click on this one, properties. See if I can make this look a little better. Best fit with no leader. This dimension line going across. Hit escape. Do the same thing in this one. In fit. Move text, no leader. And there we go. Those are in there nice and clean now. Close properties. Let's see. Next we have the other dimensions I need on the inside. So for this point right here, I want these dimensions to be on the inside. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change my dim style. DIM style. And I'm going to modify it. I'm going to click on fit. And I'm going to, if there is enough room for both text and arrows, I'm going to force the arrows inside. Hit OK and close. With that set, when I go ahead and put my diameter dimensions for the center line, it'll place it nice and neat inside there. I can then click on the text and move it wherever I want. I'm also going to want to do the inner circle. Repeat diameter. Selecting it, putting it there. And I can move my text wherever I want. Move it about here. All right, looking good. My 45. I need to change the precision on those two. This one and this one here. Properties. Let's make sure our precision, angle precision, is set to only one place. All right, we're looking good. Let's close out properties. It's keeping out of all the selections. You got those dimensions in place. Angle, length of the line. All right. Good there, good there. Symmetry, one more dimension here. Let's do a linear dimension from the intersection here to the end. Put that dimension right there. 2. I need to go ahead and double click in here. Making sure the crosshairs at the front of this. I'm going to put in 4x. So it says 4 times. Make sure it's capital X. Space in there. Any other numbered items? I don't see them. All right, so it looks like we're doing good. We don't need to label this as a tangent edge. All right, looking good. Let's go ahead and save this drawing. Let's look at our sheet. It looks like everything is in here presentable. Now all you have to do, double click into the gray area, making sure not change your scale. Double click on there, You can see what your scale is. Should be still set to 1 to 1. Double click on the gray, get out of the viewport. From here, you can go ahead and start putting your date drawn by, your scale, the project number, and then sheet 1 of 1. Once you've done all that information, you can go into print. You'll get the option to do batch plotting. We don't need to. Do a single sheet. And if you use the correct template, your drawing will be to PDF. You'll be at monochrome, and everything will be set up for you. You can then preview it, look at your drawing. Once you've checked it for any errors, you close it with the X. Then you'll press the OK button. Once you've selected the OK button, a prompt will come up to save it as a PDF. You will then save it where your completed work is, and you'll turn it in per the instructions of Mr. Rodriguez. This has been your 7.27 tutorial, and I'll see you in the classroom. Have a nice one. Bye-bye.